Good day. How we doing? My name's Lefto, and I am assistant to Chef Burke. And I'm going to get started without him because he's late today. And it's my birthday, by the way, too. So happy birthday to me. We're going to start working on vegetables today. This episode will be about vegetables. And not necessarily what I eat every day, but I do like them. And I think I'm going to be going on a date with a vegetarian that I met on Puppet Bumble. So it's going to be my first date, and I'm going to practice vegetables. Chef Burke will be here shortly and help me learn how to make artichoke barragoul, artichoke hummus, Beet Wellington, beefsteak Diane, a bunch of other great stuff. And look at this beautiful stuff. Artichokes, hummus, artichoke hummus, goat cheese. We're going to stuff some of these, and then we're going to go some beets and some other things, and hopefully he'll show. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, big guy. Anyway, I hear Lefto started without me, so that's good. I'm Chef David Burke. Welcome to the show. Lefto's here. He's my left-hand man. He'll also help us with some leftover dishes. I hear he's got a date on Puppet Bumble, which is about time. And we're going to teach him and you how to do some creative vegetable dishes today. And as I get older, I love vegetables. And especially when it's ethnic, we're going to do some traditional things. Artichoke barragoul, we'll start with artichoke hummus, beefsteak Diane, Beet Wellington, spaghetti squash Primavera, and we're going to do a vegetable pot pie with Pillsbury biscuits. So, first thing, beautiful artichokes, by the way. Beautiful. These are artichokes whole. We cut them in half. We're going to cook them this way. I do have some cooked ones, but I'm going to cut this down a little flash here. Cut them right in half. Now, I can tell you that if there is a you see this? Beautiful. I love the look of this. You got the choke in here. The bottom, artichoke bottom is here. The leaves. I'm going to go right in here. And make sure you got a heavy knife. But I love the stem on them. I'm glad we got them this way. They're pretty hard to find in a supermarket, I don't think. But anyway, they're going in. The stems will steam. I cut this one a little shorter. And so I got some broth in there, white wine. Barragoul, B-A-R-I-G-O-U-L-E, is a method of cooking artichokes. It comes from the Provence area of France. The word barragoul refers to the mushroom that used to be stuffed in these, and they use a lot of wine, a lot of vegetables in Provence-style cooking. So we're going to steam these like this. There's carrots and onions go in, lemon juice, lemons and lemon juice. This one. Steam away and cook. Probably artichokes take a while. And now they're cooking. Okay, now we're going to make the filling. Once they're cooked, they'll look like this. But I'll leave these here to cook. And once they look like this, they're cooked. You can eat them cold, you can eat them hot. These on the grill would be great. Now, the first thing we have to do is we take this piece out. We grab a spoon, take this part out. This is the hairy part. That you can discard, or you can throw back into here for the broth. And then you've got some tender leaves cooked. And you can stuff this from underneath with bread and this and that, but we're going to do a couple different things. And you make yourself a little cup, a little bowl here for the stuffing. And again, if you want to use some of this in the stuffing, the carrots and the onions, you can. I'm going to use some of the onion, and I'll chop it up. Got 3 there, another one to go. And broth. We're making the barragoul stock. I'll put this off to the side. Artichokes are starting to trend, got to tell you. And you can buy really good artichokes from a can or a package, or go online, pre-cooked. All that hard work is done for you. You can buy them with the stem. I'm going to take some of that onion and chop it up. We're going to make a goat cheese filling now. All right. We got some onion. We got a bowl. onion. Now I have garlic goes into barragoul also, garlic cloves. I'm going to chop some of these. These are cooked very tender, so they're sweetened up. So they don't have to be chopped that fine. Onions, garlic. I've got olives. I'll chop some of these. Some greens, some blacks. These are peppadews, or little sweet peppers. I got some pistachios, a little fresh garlic, and a little bit of fresh onion, shallot. Then these are gonna. Now I have some butter. It's a little soft, a little butter, and some soft. I put some parsley, goat cheese. So this is about 3-4 ounces of goat cheese. I got some butter. Again. Probably 2 ounces of butter. Butter and goat cheese. I use almost equal parts, a little less butter, because the butter will soften the flavor of the goat cheese. Sometimes it's chalky and dry. A brie or a mozzarella won't get that way. So you can add some Parmesan to this too. Lots of pepper, of course. Lots of salt we like. And then we'll mix this up a little bit. So pay attention, Lefto. So now it's goat cheese softened up with some butter, which also adds a little lubricant, so that the chalky cheese sometimes gets extended. You got all those other flavors. I'll add a little more parsley. You can add some zest of that if you like, but we're gonna add a little more bread, a little bit of breadcrumb, little bit. For now, tighten it up even more. See, look, you got a filling now. See what I got? We got a filling. We're gonna taste that filling. Good, good, good. The barragoul is boiling. So here's our artichokes. We're gonna put salt and pepper in them. A little bit more red. And we're gonna stuff them. See what we got? Don't be afraid to put a little bit of the stuffing, on the outside here where it goes into the leaves down here. And all the way, cover the whole thing up, because this will drip into the other leaves. And then we're gonna put a little bit more bread on it. There's one. Again, this works for crab meat, mac and cheese. And if you can find them on the stems, like I said, beautiful. One of the things we learn in restaurants, you see that? Don't throw it away. There's always another tablespoon or two in there, either for taste testers or make it a little bigger. Lefto knows that. Now we got a sheet pan here. It's gonna go in the oven. So I didn't make enough stuffing for 4. Olive oil on the pan, good amount. And these are gonna go right here. This one is a naked one. I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic in this one. Simple, some olives, without the breading and the cheese. Some bread. This will just be different one. Now, if someone would like to help me, you can put that in the oven in front. Chris, thank you. Say hello to Chris Shea. Thank you. And we'll bake those at 400. Get them nice and crispy and soft.
For chefs and culinary professionals, the Chef's Warehouse is more than a supplier. It's a trusted partner in crafting unforgettable dishes. Known for sourcing the finest ingredients from around the globe, They deliver everything from artisanal cheeses and fresh seafood to specialty meats and gourmet pantry staples. With over 35 years of dedication to quality and innovation, the Chef's Warehouse is the go-to resource for those who demand the best. Discover how they help elevate kitchens everywhere at chefswarehouse.com.
We have the stuffed artichoke, which is like a tomahawk artichoke in the oven with the goat cheese and the olives. And now you have, we're going to move into a lefto dish, or maybe not a lefto dish, but how to use some of the other piece of the artichoke. So we take the choke out, you know, the hairy piece here. Obviously these, the outer leaves can be pulled off. And there's meat here to be used and to be eaten, you know, like that. Beautiful. So take some of that out. So we got the leaves, right? And this is the bottom. The bottoms, you buy bottoms, they get pureed. You get a few bottoms, you can puree them. And some of the stem meat could, if you know, I don't think you'll find the stems in the store, but you can puree some of the stem. It's good. But in most cases, you're going to buy bottoms and make puree. This is what I've done here. I put artichoke bottoms. Delicious. Pureed, I made hummus. You can add some chickpea if you want. Don't have to. It'll give it a little more body. It'll stretch it. And therefore, it is hummus. Or you can just do an artichoke puree as a nice garnish for fish or dip. And it's, boy, is it elegant, sexy, sophisticated. You can serve it with anything from with the sea scallops or cold salads, caviar, artichoke puree. We do it with a branzino dish on in all of our restaurants. So we're going to do a little bit. So artichoke bottoms, 3 or 4 in there, pureed, olive oil, a little garlic, lemon juice. You could add some chickpeas and puree it. In this case, it doesn't have the chickpeas or it's artichoke puree. Okay. So I have some here. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Right, now you can add some artichoke. So we're going to move right into the present. I got some peas. I'm just going to heat them up here. I got some leaves I've saved. So here we have artichoke puree, or what we want to call hummus. Circle the plate around a little bit. And so you got basically a little bit of a well here. The artichoke leaves we can put around the plate. And these are the ones, you know, you're going to dip in and run it across your teeth. And this is what you can do with leftover artichokes. Or just make it as the main dish. I got some hot bread here. I have some black olives. A little bit of ratatouille veg, again, just kind of make it look pretty. I had some pistachios texture. All right. Chopped parsley. Nice pita bread. Again, if you have artichoke left that's not pureed, add it. Or a little salt, especially on the leaves because they're going to be pulled. This is chili oil. And I have some basil oil. Garnish with a little bit of frisee. My bread is warming. Some tomatoes, and then my bread is here too. So this is an artichoke hummus, all right? Pistachios, there's bread on the side, artichoke leaves. It's a puree of artichoke with really good olive oil, lemon, salt, pepper. You can add the garlic. One other thing I forgot. A little bit of crispy artichokes. Fried. These are the fried. These are these fried up. Really, you see? The leaves. Translucent. Again, his idea. Good use of leftovers. Good looking dish. Everybody loves it. I take that artichoke puree and I use it under fish dishes. It's a good staple. Celery root puree, artichoke puree. Nice plate. Artichokes are fabulous. And that's just it's delicious and it's pretty. I got a nice black plate there. I had great cherry tomatoes and texture. Breads, you got texture from the artichoke also, but the pistachios and the crispy artichoke. That's our hummus. We've got the baked artichokes in the oven. In the meantime, we're gonna start my spaghetti squash Primavera dish. I have a hot pan here. This is a spaghetti squash. This is beautiful. If you can smell this, see the artichokes are cooking. It's a vegetable that's not going to stay green, and you can see the stems are starting to wilt down a little bit. So here's a spaghetti squash. I always think of Chef Rick Moonen. If anybody knows him, he's a great chef, and we worked in New York City for years together. And he always used to make spaghetti squash as spaghetti. I never did it, not on my restaurant menus. So whenever I see spaghetti squash, it reminds me of Rick was so enthusiastic about it. He's another great chef. Anyway, you cut them in half. This is a small one. It's got some seeds in it. Take those out. I can see Lefto already. He's like, don't throw the seeds away. We're not going to throw the seeds away. I'm going to put them right in there and get them toasted. He wants a snack. So then, but you do take the little sinew out here, which we've done already. Take some of this out. You wind up with this. All right, clean. It's a bowl. It's a bowl. A bowl. A vessel to eat out of. And you think way back when, before we had China, what people ate out of, like the word room and board comes from when people checked into an inn back then. They got a room and they got a board. The reason they got a board is if they had a board, they went down to eat. At least they had something to put the food on, and that could tell who paid for the room. So they got the food and they put on their board. Even further back, the word skål in Norway or in Scandinavia, when they say cheers, the Vikings used to eat and drink out of skulls. So that's where the word skål came from. Anyway, here's my couple of seeds for Lefto, his little snack. So we toast these up. Because I'm moving a little quickly, I'm going to get them out of the pan and put a little salt on those. We got a little snack. Don't throw anything away. So we're going to put seasoning on this. Salt, pepper. And we're just going to turn these upside down in a hot pan. Salt, pepper, squash, a little bit of water for steaming. Take a few minutes. And that's what you do. You cook it like that. Let that go. Artichokes are still going great. Let me clean up my board. Clean up my knife. The spoon's back. And then what you'll do is I'm going to move the barragoul off. You see the artichokes are cooking. They're not done yet, but they've been on for about 20 minutes now, and they're doing wonderful. And if you could smell this, good stuff. And it looks sexy. It looks good. And the broth, even if you have artichokes or leeks, boil them. If you're going to boil them in broth, maybe some wine or chicken stock. Make a soup instead of draining it out. And this is what we'll have. This broth, even though it's acidic, because it's got white wine and lemon in it, we can turn that into a nice soup, which we will do if we have time, but we can just at least discuss it. So the utilization of all the work you do, it should turn into something, right? So to go back and understand what we're doing. Spaghetti squash steaming away. Once it steams, you wind up with this, you pull it out with a fork, you wind up with this wonderful spaghetti-looking squash. There's no There's no starch in there, no gluten. So it's a spaghetti. And we're going to make a little Primavera with this and put it back in there and serve it. So it's a really, really hearty and tasty vegetarian dish. And usually when these are in season, you get good value. You can, the prices are right. Is it creative? Yes, it's not the same old, same old. So we understand the steaming technique. It's probably going to take about 15, 20 minutes. So I'm going to move that over. And we're going to start to saute our Primavera. Then we'll come back to our artichoke, stuffed artichoke with the goat cheese. But I'm going to move this to a couple other burners. Okay, so we got a pan heating. We got our hummus, and look at the spaghetti squash. So what I'm going to start to do is put together a nice Primavera dish. I got all kinds of veggies here. Beautiful asparagus, peppers, squash, cherry tomatoes, and good olive oil. I have shallots. Put those in. A little bit of garlic. How we doing with the baked Arties back there? Got a fresh side top. Garlic and shallots in here. I'm gonna put the peppers in. I don't need all of them. Red and yellow. Just let this sweat a little bit. Smells great. Yeah, let's try and show you. This is the steamed, you can see, not quite yet done yet, but once it gets cooked, you start to. This is not quite cooked yet, but you can see you start scraping it, and you get the spaghetti. See that? Beautiful. I'm gonna put it back. We'll be able to. It's quick too. You can probably do this in a microwave with in a glass dish with some water or orange juice. Apple juice, something fragrant, depending on the style of dish you make. Olive oil and water. Anyway, so we're sauteing the peppers with garlic, a little shallot. I got some olives laying here, so got some other here left here. I'm gonna put them in. Seems to be Mediterranean theme today. Here we go. Smell is great. Right? Zucchini yellow squash goes in. This cooks fast. And now you can smell it. We're building flavor now. We're just building flavor. Right? We've got vegetables melting, garlic perfuming the air, lots of olives, olive oil. Got olives in there. Peppers are coming around, melting. And I got zucchini yellow squash. Going to add a little bit of water to the pan, slow down the caramelization, and beautify the dish. So now we're not going to cook it that much longer now. I have some asparagus. I'll add that. And then we're going to add the squash. There's this fresh stuff. You're going to use plenty of olive oil. We're seasoning this. It's our spaghetti. So pepper. I'm going to add some of the broth from the artichokes. Again, it's just there's some garlic in there. You can use any broth or any water. And now we're cooking. One more garlic. Good. Boy, it tastes good. Salt, pepper. We didn't add the cheese yet. You see the spaghetti squash. It looks like capellini. Got the salt, pepper. I got a little bit of artichoke broth in there, but that's about it. So I have these that we roasted in the oven. And this one we just steamed. And I just put the squash inside. And here we are. I'm gonna add a little bit of cheese. Tastes good, smells good. And I'm just gonna kind of fill up my bowl here. The cheese is wonderful, and the vegetables are great. You know, you're starting to, all that melted together. And now you got a little spaghetti squash primavera. You can add peas, you could add mushrooms. I added what I had today. And it's certainly more than enough for one. I throw these beautiful tomatoes, they'll heat right up. The primavera, the spaghetti squash is actually great. It's in a shell. You can eat the interior here with a, you know, this is super, certainly edible. And it still strings out a little bit more spaghetti. So, great looking dish. I added some olives and I got different vegetables in there, but a spaghetti squash is magical if you know how to use it. And quick, easy. Steam it in the microwave. If you have to steam it here, again, you'll get some natural juices that you could leave on here, but we're gonna add a little bit of basil oil or olive oil to the plate. Beautiful olive oil. And then you have a little bit more chili oil, which again, oh, she's, well, look how pretty that is. Talk about, it's like the Italian flag. And I fried artichokes left from my previous dish. Don't forget this stuff. If you can grate your own, have a great time. This is spaghetti squash primavera. What do you think, pal? Heads up. That's a beauty. Got the artichoke hummus. How's our artichokes with goat cheese? One other thing is the seeds. If you can toast them up, keep them around nice and salty. Another good garnish. Basil. Very happy with that beautiful dish, and it's really hearty for a vegetarian. You know, you can serve that with some bread. You could add more cheese. You could add a little bit more cacio pepe style, but that's a great vegetarian dish. Again, they took a little bit too much out, but this is still a good cup to serve it in. All right, that's a great dish. And then we'll get the artichokes out of the oven, the stuffed artichokes. But main course vegetarian dishes are what are a little more challenging for us to sell as chefs. So you got to really put on your thinking cap and go the extra effort. I opened a restaurant, Park Avenue Cafe, 1992 in New York City. And we had everything ready. We had a table in the kitchen, air conditioning, set 10 people. It was hot stuff. We were packed. We had a great crew, great pastries. That's where the swordfish shop and pastrami salmon were introduced. Signature dishes, the chocolate park bench hopper in the park, and our first order that came in, all this preparation was a vegetarian dish. So we had to run around and make a vegetarian dish. Second night, vegetarian dish. 5 o'clock, this woman came in 3 nights in a row. She lived in the building. So I designed a vegetable torte, layers of vegetables in a ring mold. We used to steam it, and I didn't know what to call it. I called it a vegetable torte. So I found out the woman's name. Her name was Mrs. Asher. And she lived upstairs, and we called it Mrs. Asher's Vegetable Torte. And boy, did we make a lot of them and sell a lot of them. And this was in 92. Funny story is, 10, 15 years later, my mother, who lived about an hour and a half away in Jersey, asked me if I knew a Mrs. Asher. And I said, well, I kind of know her. Yes, I know she is. And she said that her son was her doctor. right? It's a small world anyway. So she said that she had her son had told my mother that we made her beautiful vegetable dishes. Anyway, little trivia, little something. Okay, how about the goat cheese? Close, or should I move?
5 minutes.
5 minutes on the goat cheese. Okay, we're going to move to another dish now.
At Marvel Produce, we bring the freshest fruits and vegetables from farm to table with unmatched quality. For years, we've partnered with local growers and global suppliers to ensure every product meets our high standards of freshness and flavor. Whether you're a chef crafting gourmet meals, a grocer stocking your shelves, or a family looking for the best produce, Marvel Produce is your trusted source. Our commitment to sustainability and excellence is at the heart of everything we do. Marvel Produce, delivering freshness you can count on. Explore more at marvelproduce.com.
So this is blanched asparagus. And I'm going to run a skewer through. Just use your fingers to hold it down. Run a skewer through this. Another one. Like this. This is stuff we do, and we're gonna bread the bottom part. Right? You're gonna bread one back there. I can saute it up here, but this is an asparagus raft. Take a raft, and we usually float or land a piece of fish on that. So we'll bread the asparagus bottoms. Get a crust, could be hazelnut, could be Parmesan, etc. And we'll put a scallop or a cease. In this case, we're going to put steak, beets, and potatoes on it. But I wanted to show you this because this alone, actually, get me here. You can bread both of these, and then we'll make one for the burrata salad, and we'll make one for the venison steak. I mean the venison steak. I'm thinking venison. It's vegetarian dish. Sorry, the beet steak. Normally, steak Diane was made with venison because that was the season in which the hunters were out. So it's called the goddess of the hunt. I got some olive oil. I have beets that are cooked. You can buy them cooked. You can cook them. I have a potato pave or a gratin potato, or just a potato that is layered, no cheese, and baked together. Again, you can make a potato pancake. It's kind of like a potato pancake baked in a pan, which we'll show you. And they're browned off already. Sauteed mushrooms. I'm going to need some shallot. I got shallots already too good. And we're going to make the sauce right in the pan. First thing we'll cook is the asparagus. Lefto, you doing okay? Yeah, let's go. Happy birthday to you. Way to go. Lefto, 5 years old today. Lefto Lopez. You ready? Thank you, sir. All right, so here we got asparagus. We call this asparagus raft. I'm going to take some of the breading off the tips because they're too pretty. They breaded the tips as well. So I'm going to clean that up a little bit. All right. But, you know, flour, egg, and breadcrumb. These are called asparagus rafts. These are great. I've made these in a while. But it's a good vessel to elevate your food. And the asparagus cook, so you're merely creating a crust now and heating them up. I gotta get a couple of nice plates for this. Nice to have a good variety of China. See, that's it, look at that. Cool, right? And it adds a nice crunch to otherwise somewhat boring vegetable after a while. Add some cheese or flavored breadcrumbs to that. So that's the asparagus. I'm gonna add the potatoes also to heat them up. Olive oil gets absorbed. So when you're cooking things that are breaded, use a good olive oil because the olive oil goes into the bread. And this is called beet steak Diane. So here's the beets that are cooked. There's a yellow one. There's a red one. We're gonna do twin fillets. So because this one is a little smaller, I'm gonna trim this one down a tad. Right. Look at that. Beets, potatoes, and beets. Got a hot pan, going strong. I'm gonna lower it a tad. Then we're gonna make a sauce. The sauce is important. So the beets, we understand the beets. The beets are cooked. They're roasted in their skin like a baked potato. Take the skin off, have it cooked. You can boil them, if you do boil them in a stock, make a nice soup. We're just heating up our potatoes and our beets. They're already kind of warm because I had them roasted earlier. And I have mushrooms here. These are cooked already. Browned off. Oyster mushrooms, they're beautiful. I'm gonna brown all this and we start to plate, and then we'll make the sauce in the pan. So you see the asparagus raft, quite beautiful. It's gonna go on the plate. Now, explain to you something about plating, which I tend to take very seriously, how things look on a plate. You see this? This is 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. The asparagus should be at 7 o'clock. So when you cut, your fork is here and your knife, so you want to eat those tips first. So that's just a little tip. Right? And when you see, hopefully the waiter puts it down the right way, but even for home use. So now I got my beets, my mushrooms, everything sauteing. I lowered the flame a little. Getting everything in that olive oil, nice, controlled. This asparagus is going to be used for a salad in a few moments. I'll put that here. And we're going to focus on the beet steak Diane. We already got our asparagus raft. We got a potato pave, they call it, or just a block of potato. It could be a wedges of potato. Could be, and we got some mushrooms, and we got the beets. I'm going to do 2 different presentations, 2 different looks. I'm going to move this asparagus over to here because it's a longer plate. Wipe this down a little bit. Okay. Potato. Here, I need another beet. Another beet. And then here's the potatoes. So the potatoes, I got 2 of them. I'm going to put them here. So we're doing twin fillets of beets. And I have the 2 fillets here. And I got the other filet mignon of beet here, which is going to come back in a little while. Mushrooms. Got a couple of mushrooms here. A couple of mushrooms there. So we're getting the beets nice and warmed up. So the twin beets are looking pretty good. Got one going here. Got one going on top of the potato. So look at these like twin filet mignons, right? Look at how beautiful that is. Thank you, sir. And I'm going to heat up a couple of, thank you, Francois. Yeah. Thank you. All right, so and I got a couple of asparagus here. But this is great, right? Another little mushroom here. The other beet is heating up, and here we have the mushrooms. The most important part of this, well, this is beautiful. I'm going to throw a couple of these here. So, here's our other beet going here. The beet, this one's gonna rest on the asparagus wrap. This is resting on the potatoes. I do have olive oil in here, a little bit of bread, but all the flavor from the vegetables is here as well. All right, so now we make the sauce. The sauce has a garlic, shallot, pepper, Worcestershire, brandy, mushrooms usually in the sauce. So we're gonna add garlic, lots of shallots, lots of pepper, and brandy. And we could flame it. I think you can flame it. There you go. Don't get scared, Lefto. I know you are flammable. A little Worcestershire. And this is mushroom stock made with vegetable stock and pureed mushrooms. There's no beef stock here. Now that goes in. That's the base. So it's a great idea, by the way, Chris. So now we've got a brandy Worcestershire black pepper thing going on here with a mushroom soup, really mushroom soup, except it's made with vegetable stock. We're gonna add some mustard. Piquant. Take this all together and get all the scrapings up and chives. And that is, it's very similar to what steak Diane is. Steak au poivre, steak Diane. Look how pretty that is. I'm saying it needs butter, but it doesn't. It needs olive oil. That'll smooth it out. Add some fruit to it. The mustard's piquant. The Worcestershire piquant. Boy, is it good. And I got a lot of black pepper in there. I'm gonna let it cook down a little bit. When you're making a pan sauce, you could have some butter in there if you wanted to, would thicken it up and give it some shine. This is pretty good. Beet steak Diane. Beet steak Diane with asparagus raft. This is a really nice way to serve a vegetarian dish. Guys, you should take a look at this. It's great. So you have potato cakes, roasted beets, mushrooms, a little asparagus, and the Diane sauce. This is the asparagus raft with another roasted beet, masquerading as a filet mignon with mushrooms, all olive oil, no butter, no stock, no juice. Great plate. Very good. And the sauce, save the sauces. Mushroom soup made out of vegetarian as the base for the sauce. You know, the shallots, the Worcestershire. Mustard is important. Finished with olive oil. But look how good that is. Very good. Delicious. That's why I like this too. I like that, but this is one of my favorites. But now we're going to put up the roasted artichokes with the cheese. Are they out of the oven yet? Let's go. So we stuffed the artichokes earlier with goat cheese, pistachio, olives, breadcrumbs, butter, seasoning. I'm gonna save the soup here, the sauce, Diane sauce for the crew. We're gonna eat this. Wow, 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 thank you. So this is, wow, nice. So this is the stuffed artichoke that we did earlier. These all have the cheese and the butter. Look how beautiful it was. And this one has no, this one just has the olives, and this one I didn't have enough stuffing for, but I'm gonna take this one away. Look at this piece of work. A little bit of basil. And you got yourself a nice lunch dish, snack. Again, you can use some of this oil. I don't want to I'm not going to use the basil and chili oil. I don't think you need it, but you can. It certainly looks good. But look at that. I'm going to cut one open now. Boy, it smells great. So here's a family style platter. And here is if we served it for one, again, you could let's try it. See how the filling is? You can eat it. It's hot. And the bottom is right here. And you know, this is mostly eaten with your hands. Italians, they love to eat it, you know, with the breadcrumbs. And then again, you see how you got it on the leaves here? Olives are great. You could add capers to this too, or sun-dried tomatoes. At the bottom, again, this could be served with a remoulade sauce too, or some kind of flavored mayonnaise. But great presentation, great use of artichokes, great use of artichokes here. Really impressive spaghetti squash dish, and the beet steak Diane, twin fillets, single fillet on asparagus raft. Great dishes. Stay with us. You and I have a conversation about leftover vegetables. We're going to make a vegetable pot pie, and we're going to show you the asparagus wrapped with a burrata salad. So stay with us. We'll talk about other vegetable dishes and some ethnic cuisine. Thank you. All right, let's do a quick review. Artichoke, hummus, sexy. Spaghetti squash Primavera, sexy. Twin fillets of beets, steak Diane. I forgot to put the chopped tomato in the sauce, just so you bonehead. You bonehead. That's supposed to go in there, the sauce. There's variations of the sauce. That's asparagus wrapped with another beet fillet, stuffed artichokes, goat cheese, olives, etc., etc. And now we are making Beet Wellington, like beef Wellington, but it's Beet Wellington, and Chris Shea did a great job on these. We're gonna make assemble one, we'll bake one. We're doing a vegetable pot pie, and that'll be should be enough for you to go on your date. So let's get to work. Wellington is very famous, and it's trending now a little bit, beef Wellington. Usually made with filet mignon. It's usually made with the whole filet, which we showed you on an episode how to trim it up. Duxelles, which is a mushroom puree. There's usually foie gras in it. Of course, for this episode, it's not going to be. Some people put a crepe around it. Some people don't. Classically, it doesn't have a crepe. It's made with puff pastry. It can be made with brick dough, or the beet one can be made with a different dough. We have egg roll wrapper, and we have puff pastry. So we're gonna go with the puff pastry today. Here's the puff pastry. You can buy it in the store. I got egg wash. Put a little egg wash on it. Egg wash is just scrambled eggs, basically. Some people use egg yolks only or less, but that's not important at this point. And then you can buy a pie cutter. The pie cutters for lattices, you can get them online, and you take a piece of this and you roll that little roller through and you have a lattice. We're gonna add a crepe down. Reason for the crepe, keep the dough moist, because the blood of the filet mignon is usually gonna make the pastry soggy. I'm gonna add lots of mushrooms because seasoned salt, pepper. Now again, if you want to get creative, you can throw a couple of pistachios in there. Chop them up a little. I lost my knife. Here it is. Pistachios always remind me. You can throw some pistachios in if you want. I don't think Chris put them in his, but I like to break the rules. Another textural component, right? Now, you're gonna wrap this around like this, somewhat, or maybe try to bundle it up like this. Now maybe we do it that way and then we do it this way. Flip it over. Put the pastry this way. Make sure the pastry is going to cover, right? Now you could do it this way and bake it like that if you want. And we will bake it like this because I like it. It's like a candy wrapper. Got to make sure that we will trim it up a little bit. Anyway, and we'll put this up. You can do it with spring roll wrapper too, although this will be a little tougher, but you could, and you could fry it. Now, this we're going to egg wash. Sometimes you can use a knife. If you don't want to do this, you can use a knife to score it. Put on some decorations, right? Go to the side. I'm adding some slits just to make it look cool and cooks the dough a little faster. So now, this part will go here, and then we'll just spread it out over there. This is a pie cutter, so this is actually a beautiful touch. And put it underneath, and that way. Pretty simple. Everything's simple when you know how. That's the key to life. When you know how to do something, it's simple. Tying your shoe when you were 4 wasn't simple, but we take it for granted now. It's the same as cooking, pastry. Some people are experts, some people are not, but Okay, so now the Beet Wellington in the oven. Can I get some assistance here? Put that away, fire it up. 400 degrees. All right, let's do the fast forward. So let's assume it's cooked. It's going to take 20, 25 minutes, maybe 30. Take your time. Make sure the pastry is cooked. Puff pastry takes a long time to cook. Sometimes it's raw, it's wet. It should be brown. In America, you get a croissant, it's golden. A croissant should be brown. It should not be golden. It doesn't cook golden. It has to be brown and flaky and nutty. And it's got to cook on the inside. So what happens is it steams, and oftentimes you get it soft and the dough is raw on the inside. It's not necessarily cooked all the way through. So I have sauce here made from the Beet Wellington sauce. Crepes we've done. This is spinach crepe. You can buy a regular crepe. Again, the crepe is not the most important part of the dish. Beet Wellington. This is hot. I got a plate. The idea is to be able to make something. And what's good about this, you make it ahead of time, cook it like that, and you plate it. You put a platter. People can help themselves. Have a nice sauce. Call it a day. I do have some artichoke puree I'm going to use. Put that down as a base. It's hot. The big reveal is we cut it in half. Look at the beet. It looks like salmon. All right. So we're going to plate it like this. Great job on that. We got a sauce. This is a mustard mushroom sauce. This is our, actually, this is a Diane sauce. So, simple and delicious. Look at this. It's in the oven. I'll bring it out once they are cooked, but for presentation and TV purposes, we're going to show you what it is. We decorate it with asparagus and some other mushrooms. Mushrooms are inside. The show is the pastry and the beet. Can you put some watercress? Yes. You can garnish with a little bit of chopped tomato if you like. But again, the star of the show, the beet and the pastry, especially with that lattice. You don't have to do the lattice. All right? See that? It's a beautiful thing. It's warm, tasty. If I could order this at a restaurant, I would. I would order Beet Wellington in a minute, and it would be priced proper. I don't care if it was expensive for beet. Beef Wellington is $70 in New York City, or in New Jersey, or wherever you go. But this is for the people that like to eat vegetables. Even if you're not a vegetarian, it doesn't mean you can't play with some of these dishes as a wow factor. Also economics come into play, versatility, health, right? And yeah, open your repertoire and impress people. That's an impressive dish. Some of these are really impressive dishes. So the next one is going to be a classic idea for meat. Also, it's going to be a pot pie. And this can be done with leftover veggies. I do it with the fruits in my house all the time. Fruit, I live alone. My fruits go bad. The bananas, the grapes, the raspberries, I can't even buy them anymore. They go bad so quick. Blackberries, blueberries. And I cook them in honey that I get from my yard, vinegar. Sometimes I add cumin or ginger, sometimes some hot sauce, and or iced tea, and I boil it and then make a jam. And the same thing is like with vegetables. Just make a quick pot pie and freeze it, and then you have a snack. Don't let things go bad. I'm going to start the pot pie out in a pan. It's going to be one. Again, if you notice what we're cooking, and I do some of this because of Lefto. I don't want to put him next to the oven because he's very flammable. And
welcome to Off the Hook Seafood, your trusted source for premium wholesale seafood. From ocean to table, we deliver the freshest catch, ensuring quality and excellence for your business. We specialize in servicing restaurants, hotels, country clubs, catering halls, private chefs, markets, stadiums, and any other institutions. Off the Hook Seafood, where freshness meets reliability.
And now we're going to make an untraditional puff pie. Now you can buy that puff pastry, or you can take a piece of this egg roll wrapper. I'm just going to show you a little trick. It wasn't on the agenda, but this is that egg roll wrapper. Well, an egg roll wrapper. And you have that wrapper from the Pillsbury Doughboy or whoever that is. So I have a, what I'm cooking in front of us is an egg roll wrapper. Now, if you don't want to make a puff pastry, puff pot pie, or bread, you can just simply do what I did. This is olive oil and egg roll wrapper, and that could be the top of your pot pie. We're going to show you a couple of varieties here. This could be a cracker, it could be homemade bread. You can add, you know, some salt and some pepper on it. Black pepper crisp. Play with your food. And then when you think pot pie, oh, I got to make a soup and I got to cook the bread. Look at this. That's made out of the Pillsbury stuff. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm gonna put this off to the side. So that's another pot pie top, right? But you got any parm back there? We can throw a little parm on it. Good. Oh, this is even better. Everything bagel seasoning. The man, Chris, on point. Okay. So here's a hot pan. Carrots. Normally a chicken pot pie, you'd be making a chicken soup, but we have that made already. Carrots, celery. These are all hard vegetables. Leeks. So we're going to cook them together because they take time to soften. Right, where the peas and asparagus are tender already, we're going to add them later. So here's our pot pie base. We have one topping, one crisp here. Could go on top of a pot pie already. We have the Pillsbury, thank you. I don't know if it's Pillsbury, I'm not plugging Pillsbury, that's the one I know. Mushrooms are going into the pan too. So again, the aromas are great. Garlic, shallots, if you need it. So let's talk about this. This is something I did at Park Avenue Cafe years ago because we had a rustic American setting. I made a pot pie, and of course it had to be unique. So we took, again, I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on here to melt it on. That's just a puff paste. So we baked one already. We took a pan, we rolled the dough, and we put them together like a ring or a wreath. Baked it in that pan. Right? So it's an open-faced pot pie. So in a restaurant, when we make pot pies, Michael Mina makes a lobster pot pie great. But he makes it traditionally with the puff pastry over it. And you got to time it perfectly, otherwise things overcook. A chicken pot pie, chicken's cooked well done anyway, so you don't worry about it. But for what we're trying to do, I want you to see what's in the pan before we cut it open. So we designed this ring as the crust. Serves the same purpose. Now when you buy the dough, you get a little ring like this. And I think Chris did this. Rolled it up like this. This is store-bought. And then we just laid these into the pan, one by one. Let's stick them together. Overlap. We could just make balls if you want. You don't have to make mini croissants, but kind of fun. See what we did here? Playing with our food again. So that was one package, I guess, and then you got this last one. Make sure they're all stuck together. Here's the pot pie, still going strong. So we're melting the vegetables. It's tenderizing and caramelizing. And then this goes in the oven. The biscuit dough, the biscuit dough, right? So we're gonna bake it in this pan. Doesn't mean we have to serve it in this pan, but we have a ring now, right? I have the everything spice mix going on here, and this is gonna go in the oven. Here you go, another pan. Potato pancakes, okay, I see what that is. All right, so you got the veggies here. Not quite cooked yet, but we're getting there. So the pan goes in the oven, it comes out like this. This one's not as hot as it should be now, but that's our plan. Now we have this. I can serve the pot pie in here, or I can serve the pot pie in here and put that in there. Depends on which way you want to go, all right? I kind of like this. So I'm going to keep this here. so we can heat it up. See where we are here? And now we got our vegetables. You can see that. Wow, it's cooking fast. A little more olive oil. But we got carrots and celery and leeks. We've got mushrooms. We got a hot pan. Leftovers, and you can smell it. It smells good. In this pan, I have the mushroom broth, or the mushroom soup again. So the softer vegetables are asparagus that goes in. Got some radishes. I got some peas. Thank you, sir. Again, you can do broccoli, cauliflower, whatever you want. Tomatoes. And again, I'm cooking in real time, you know, like I'd expect if you want to make your own dough, make your own dough. You want to buy it, you buy it. This is the technique. Again, you can add shrimp, you could add meat, you could add whatever you want, but we're doing vegetables. Lefto said, I need vegetable ideas. And we got them. Now, all the veggies are hot. They're seasoned. Again, you know I like black pepper and salt. Well, everyone should. Then we're going to put some of the mushroom soup in there. See, now we got a pie. We got a stew. Got some sage leaves that are fried. I'm going to throw them in. Crumble up. A little more broth. Tomatoes. See, it's getting nice and tight. Got a little bit drier. I add a little bit more. Again, it depends on how much soup, how much of a stew you want versus a pie. And that's why when you do the open face one, you know, without the lid on it, you can control exactly how it's seasoned. And if you wanted to add shrimp now, you could. You could serve the vegetarian. You could add chicken or shrimp, but you can't do it once the lid's on. So here's our pie. I'm going to put some of it in there, like this, like so. Look at that. Then I'm going to take this, which is hot, and turn it this way or this way. All right? Now this pie can be for the table, for two. It's a big one. Or you can make them smaller, but kind of looks cool. Right? Sage. If you want, you take a little bit of olive oil on the dough. If you want, you can put some cheese. This is a pot pie from vegetable pot pie. Yum. Smells great. Or you can serve it in the pan. If you got a nice trivet on the table, put it on the pan. And you got a vegetable pot pie. And again, you want to add a chicken breast now, you can. Serve the vegetarians. You can add chicken or top it with shrimp. That's why I like the idea of the open-faced pot pie, right? And again, that's a big one. That's for two people. You can make a small ring, smaller pan, smaller bowl. Again, this, great idea today. This could also be on top. Again, I think we covered a lot, but I want to show you the asparagus raft with the, but we're going to skip this. I'm going to show you the asparagus with the burrata. You have a rafter, but I really like this. Look at this. And even this piece, just as a snack, egg roll wrapper. But you can serve it like this. Again, you control what goes in, what it tastes like, and you can customize. A little salt. And you can peekaboo it like halfway, or you can surprise them. Surprise, surprise. I'm going to show you one more a salad quickly. We're done cooking vegetables for today. Let's get over here, dude. Taking a half a day. You're the one that wants to learn. Pot pie, vegetables, mushroom soup. We got the the two options, the Pillsbury croissant dough around the outside and the spring roll wrapper. Artichoke hummus, crispy artichokes, pistachios, spaghetti squash a la Rick Moonen, Chef Rick Moonen, all kinds of goodies in there. Beautiful dish. Twin beet filet mignon, steak, Diane with asparagus. Forgot the tomatoes. Supposed to go in the sauce. Beet Wellington, crochet style, very nice. Another steak, beet steak with asparagus wrap. Great roasted artichoke stuffed with goat cheese. Here's our pot pie filling. And I did make potato pancakes, but I didn't have time to go through it. But you want a great snack, which this is old school, but boy, are they back in style. Potato pancakes, jalapeno applesauce, sour cream and chives. Yum, yum. Good stuff. I think that's it. Asparagus wraps, keep in mind, burrata salad, I'm going to show you in a minute. Another way to do a hot asparagus cold salad, right? You happy? You happy? You ready? He's going to cook for his Tinder, Bumble, whatever. He found a date on Bumble. Puppet Bumble, coming at you. Good luck, Lefto. Have a nice day. Thank you all.